Creating great content, finding an audience, building engagement, monetizing your blog. This is Pro Blogger.
Hey there, friends. Oh, dearie me. Having lots of fun today on... I've got some learning to do on my new little system. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Welcome to take 2 of today's Ask Me Anything, where I do want to jump on and answer any questions that I can today to help you with your blogging and whatever it is that you are facing as a challenge at the moment. I am going live today onto hopefully our Facebook group, Facebook page, Twitter, and even YouTube as well. And hopefully this will be going out onto all those services fine today. I'm using Restream. And Restream does stream out into all those places at once. And so forgive me if I'm a little flustered today. Have been setting up, again, a new angle, trying to kind of try something new. So I've got the camera and microphone in a new place and using this as well. There we go. You can also trim off the beginning of a stream when you have a snafu like that, says one Facebook user. Now, I'm suspecting, because I'm using Restream here for the first time in the comments, and I'm able to actually see everyone's comments in from Twitter as well, and even on the group. And so it's kind of nice to be able to see everyone's comments coming in from different places. But some of your comments will be anonymous. So I want to say right up front, if I am not saying your name, apologies for that. And yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to see those comments coming in from different places. Nice to see you, Andrew, on Twitter. First comment from a Twitter user for a long time on one of these. Nice to see you, Sai. You were first, definitely. Hey, Laria, it's good to see you over on the, I guess, the Facebook group. I'm not really sure why you're coming up as an anonymous user. Maybe it is that you're in the group. Lighting's good, says Tom Lowe. Nice to see you. Good to see you today. Yeah, so this is the first time I've actually used Restream successfully. At least I think it's been successful so far. Have been trying to get a fast enough upload speed to be able to do that. And so it is nice to be able to say that. To see your comments coming in from different places. Nice to see you, Sai. Sai says, I just want to thank you for your passion in blogging. I got started with blogging because of you. Well, thank you so much for saying that. That kind of comment makes my day. Appreciate that a lot. Yes, I do love the Facebook user in a group. It is a bit of a pain and one of the weaknesses, I guess, of going into groups. But I do like the fact that we can at least get in there because we do have a great little community over in our Facebook group as well. Loria, I'm still getting used to Restream's chat. I'm trying to work out whether to use the Restream chat or whether to use the Ecamm chat. So if you've got any advice on that, I would love to hear that. All right, if you've got any questions today about blogging, online entrepreneurship, or streaming, not that I would say I'm the most expert streamer in the world, feel free to pop it in. Just use the word question or Q at the start of your question, and that will kind of signal to me that it is a question, not just a comment. Love to answer any questions that you do have, or at least put it on notice that I will answer the question, because a lot of the questions we get on these lives we try and take and put into the content that we produce for Pro Blogger, whether it be on the podcast, which has been a little while since we've done an episode, but also these streams. I've been doing a few more teaching streams as well, and so it is kind of nice to to be able to take your comments and to do longer teaching sessions as well. Loria, I can see your name at last. Thank you for that. Facebook locks down access to info in groups, but you can let Ecamm post a link for us to approve to see your name pick. Yes, I did do that a little while ago, and I can't remember how to set that up again, so I will have to investigate that. Sue Woo, nice to see you over on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in today. It's nice to be seen. You have a question for me? Pop it in with a Q. You can design it to your liking. Yeah, so I have been using the Twitter, the Ecamm comments, but I did see the other day you had another monitor, Loria, with your comments streaming through, and so I kind of thought I would try the restream comments, but I think it is going to be better if I just use the Ecamm ones and maybe just make that a little bit larger. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. Questions are coming in now. Okay. Thank you for your question, Asif. Run a niche site on Amazon affiliate in this time will be worth it. So Amazon affiliates at the moment, the problem with Amazon affiliates is that they have reduced the size of commissions. Again, this is something that gradually they are reducing the size of commissions, the percentage of commissions over time, and so we are seeing more and more bloggers moving away from Amazon. I quite like it in that it is a familiar tool for a familiar site for many people. It's a trusted site for many of our readers, and so it kind of makes sense to use it on some ways, but it is something that is decreasing in size of commissions, and so you probably want to just be a little wary of relying fully upon it. We actually use a tool called Genius Links, which allows us to be an affiliate into the Amazon store across the world, all the different Amazon stores, but also use other affiliate links in it as well. And so when we recommend a photography product, for example, we use a Genius link that pushes people into the Amazon store, but it also gives them an option to go shopping on B&H Photo, for example. And so when they click the link, they get taken to another page if there is a product on B&H, which allows them to go shopping in either store. And so that is a useful way to do that as well. Sue Woo's asking me if Mitt Romney should run again. No idea. Don't really follow US politics, I have to say, as an Australian, so can't help you with that one. But thanks for asking. Sai says, I was blogging since 2009, but got busy with work and started my own family, so I stopped in 2015. I find it hard to get the creative blogging juice back. Plus, I am starting to write blog posts again, but for a different niche. What other things that you can recommend for someone who has stopped and is planning to go back into the blogosphere? Good question, and it is a question we get asked a fair bit from people who've taken a break for blogging. It's really common that bloggers do take a break and often will come back with a completely different niche or a change in direction. So I guess one of the things you'll need to work out is, do you use the same domain, the same design, all of those things? If your domain is related to a particular niche topic, it may be worth changing domains, changing brand, changing design completely. If you already had an established readership, you want to think about how you can take them on the journey with you. And so maybe a bit of blogging in your old blog to kind of get them warmed up to the fact that you're back might be useful as well. But yeah, I think I would just explain that you've been away and why you've been away and what you're going to be doing for those readers, and hopefully some of them will come along on the journey with you. Stefan says, hi Darren, my books are in 18 languages today, largely because you and Georgina gave me a chance to guest post in 2011 on ProBlogger. Kickstarted my blog, just wanted to say thanks. Wow, I love those sorts of stories of people who had a chance to guest post, whether it's on ProBlogger or somewhere else, and that gave them a start. Thanks for that feedback. It's I don't often hear what happened after you give someone an opportunity, and I do know a number of people who got opportunities from guest posting on ProBlogger or Digital Photography School, but we also are starting to hear stories from people who got their start from the ProBlogger job boards. I met someone at a conference last year who came up to me and said he now has a multi-million-dollar business because he got a job on the freelance as a freelance writer on the job boards. That was his first ever creation of content online, and that led to him starting his own blog, which led to, and it just continued. And so I love hearing those sorts of stories. Stefan, thanks so much for letting us know. Dahlia, I can see you joining us from Argentina. Thanks for tuning in today as well. Okay, let's kind of get back into some of these more recent questions. What's the best way to promote, post about long-form blog posts on social media? So, yeah, that's a good question. So social media being such a short-form kind of game, sometimes it's hard to convey what you're doing in your long-form content on your blog. One of the things that I have seen people doing effectively is using video, and so actually creating really short, sharp video posts that talk about something in the content on their blog. And so you might jump on and just do a really short video that asks the question or mentions the problem that someone might have, that then makes them curious about what you've written, and then post that video onto Facebook, onto Twitter, onto Instagram. That can be a really good way of doing that. Some sort of a visual element. Video is huge on social channels at the moment. They, as long as they're not really short videos, Facebook tends to like the slightly longer ones. And so if you create original new content that's engaging, that can sometimes work to draw people across to your blog. So I'd probably be giving that a bit of a try, Mike. And it's saying, what's the optimum amount of words for a blog post? Various sources quote different numbers, and it's still confusing. It is a question we get asked a lot. The advice I usually give our writers is write enough to be useful and then stop. I don't believe that you should write purely for search engines. I want to write useful content for human beings, and what I find is that if we are useful to our readers, the content gets shared, it gets linked to, it gets ranked in Google. And whilst there might be SEO advice that you should have 500 words or 800 words or whatever it might be, I find you'll get more links, which is going to help you rank higher in Google if you're useful and you optimize the post for usefulness. We have seen short posts go really well from social media, from Google, and we've seen mega long posts go really well as well. And so we try and mix it up and do a bit of a variety of both, and see what works for your audience and see what starts to rank in Google. I'm sorry, I can't give you an exact number, but that's the advice that I live by and I have done pretty well with over the years. Chriselle says, I'm facing the crawling issue. Google doesn't crawl my blog regularly. Any solution? My blog is an infant, just 9 months old. That's probably part of the issue. The more you post new content, so that when Google does come and sees that you have created new content, that's a bit of a signal to Google, as far as I understand, that they should come back again and more regularly. And it's partly just a longevity of your content as well. So yeah, just keep updating, keep a regularity of content coming out. You might also want to try Jim Boots' Facebook group. That can be a useful one. I can't remember. I think it's SEO for Bloggers group. He's great as well. And Grove, who might be in the comments, might post a link to that for you as well. So it says Google's algorithm now knows if you're purely writing just for SEO purposes, and it will hurt your blog in general. So yeah, one of the things I suspect that Google is doing is that if they see you creating cookie cutter content that's exactly the same all the time in terms of length and in terms of just all optimized for it. It's kind of knows that if you are writing useful content for human beings, it also knows that it's looking at the readability of your content now, that type of thing. So don't get too machine-like in your content creation, because Google's getting better at looking for content that is going to relate to people and that connects with people in some ways. Excellent. Well, that might be the end of the comments. The questions, if you've got any more questions, feel free to pop them in to the comments. Hopefully this has kind of been going nicely. Okay, we've got one coming in here. So apologies for calling you a Facebook user. You're probably in the group, and for some reason my system doesn't like it. But thanks for your question anyway. Any advice for brand new bloggers set to post my first article but feel it's going to nobody yet? Yeah, so one, I can completely relate. I remember that feeling of publishing my first blog post, and it was a very bad blog post. I wouldn't even like to go back and read it now. But I remember thinking, what's the point of even writing this? Who is ever going to see it? And one of the things that I found is that first blog post actually got read a fair bit. Not immediately, but it was amazing how many people went back in my archives to read the first post. My podcast, episode 1, got listened to more than most of my other podcasts. It's amazing how many people go back. So that's one little word of encouragement for you. Is you might think no one will read it, but people will actually go back and read it, that early content from time to time. If it's a post that is going to sort of introduce who you are and what your blog is about, you might link to it as well from your about page and some of those other parts of your blog. And so don't worry too much about that. The most important thing is to get content on your blog and to get into the habit of publishing on a regular basis. Even if it's just once a week or once a month, just set yourself some deadlines and create useful content. One of the best pieces of advice I can give a new blogger is to really think clearly about who you want to read that blog and what change you want to bring in their life. If you've done our starter blog course, which is a free course that I do recommend you dig into, that's something that I teach in that. Work out who you want to reach and how you're going to change their life and create content that takes people on that journey. Hopefully something in that helps. Check out the starter blog course. It's free. Some of it you might have already done, but some of it might help you as you get ready to publish as well. We've also, hopefully next week, we'll do a content sprint on ProBlogger as well. That might be a useful thing to join. It just helps you to get into the habit of creating content as well. Stay tuned to our Facebook group, Facebook page for details of that. We'll let you know about that in the coming days as well. Okay, Matthew asks, what do you think the future of ebooks is? Is this a viable way to monetize your site? I still think it is. It's slightly old-fashioned in some ways in that they've been around for a long time, but we still see people buying our ebooks. We've seen probably a slight move towards courses as something that people are looking for now. Yeah, but I think a combination of courses and ebooks is good. The beauty of an ebook as your first product or your early product is that you can then turn it into a course. You could go the other way as well, but I think it's probably easier in some ways in terms of production to create an ebook. And then once you've seen the proof of concept with that ebook, to actually turn it into some video content as well. So yeah, look, it's not fresh and new, but people are still buying them if it's a useful piece of content. So yeah. Lawyer, nice to see you over in Nigeria. Thanks for sharing your link. I do check out all the links at the end of the post. Amit says, I'm about to launch my blog. I have a few posts ready to go. Should I post all at once or so it looks like I have more content, or space it out earlier on? Yeah, there's arguments either way, and I've seen bloggers do both. I probably would roll it out one per day maybe. So maybe post at a slightly higher frequency than you intend to do down the track. This gets your archives populated, but it also shows anyone who subscribes on day 1 or day 2 that you're regular, and that you're not just pushing it all out at once. Yeah, so I'd probably, there's no right or wrong, but I would probably start to get into that regularity of publishing. So yeah, I think there's probably more benefits in doing it that way. But congrats on getting to the point where you're ready to launch and you've written some content already. That's fantastic. I always love to have a few articles ready to go because it enables you in those early days to engage on social media and promote your blog a little bit more on. So put aside a bit of time, not just to write content in these early days, but also to engage in your niche outside of your blog. Because hopefully that will help you through that launch process as well. Excellent. I'm loving these questions. It's interesting that there's so many of these questions today are about starting a blog and launching a blog. It's been something that's been on my mind the last little while. Seen a lot of my friends starting podcasts and blogs during this period. So it kind of makes sense out of isolation that some new things will be being born. Facebook user, sorry I haven't got your name, but can you use the same content on separate but similar blogs? What's the best way to get 2 blogs going strong without writing tons of content? So one thing to keep in mind if you are publishing exactly the same content on both blogs is that only one of them is going to rank in Google. Google doesn't like duplicate content as such, particularly when it's exactly the same. So I would recommend that you don't publish exactly the same thing in 2 places. If you are going to publish something in 2 places, you want to publish on the site that you want to rank first, and you probably want to, I can't remember the name of the tag, but there's a tag you can put in your blog on the other blog to say Google don't rank this, or to point towards your original content. If you do want to publish the same content in 2 places and have them both rank, you need to rewrite one of them and put it up in a different form. One way you could do that is to create it in a different medium. So you might have a written content on one and then have audio or video on the other. But I guess I would wonder why you would want to have the same content in 2 places. Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual one. I'm not sure what the point of having 2 blogs on the same topic would be. So yeah, I would be focusing more upon one, unless they're very different niches. Then you can have 2, of course, but you probably won't want to put the same sort of content in 2 places. That's probably the advice I would give you. You want to make sure your content's distinct in different blogs as much as possible. Hopefully that actually answered the question that you had in mind. Facebook user, sorry again that I don't know your name. If you're in the group, if you want to put your name at the start, that would also help me to personalize my answer for you a little bit more as well. I'm going to work out how to get your names coming into Ecamm though in future times. All right, I think that might be the end of the questions. Thanks for tuning in today, helping me to test Restream. I have been enjoying kind of using this. It's given me a chance to test Restream, but also to test some of the sort of transitions and intros and outros that I've got as well. I'm going to finish things off there. If you've got any more questions, feel free to pop them in any time into the comments, because I do check them out in the coming days. And also just keep an eye out. We are going to run some content sprints going forwards, hopefully 1 per month and going forward, because we had one at the start of the isolation period and that went really well. So we want to do a content sprint going forward too. Thanks, Lauren. Nice to see you. Thanks, Sai, and thanks everyone else as well. I'm going to leave it there and enjoy my little outro that I just created. Hopefully this works, and I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Pro Blogger. If you'd like to comment on any of today's topics or subscribe to the series, find us at problogger.com/podcast. Tweet us at ProBlogger. Find us at facebook.com/ProBlogger or search Pro Blogger on iTunes.